cards, kept reading all the rest. Now the table's getting clear, and the truth is pretty near. Say play, say loud, let the old smoke blow out. One look, one sign, if it's real then cross the line. This is where we tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. This is where we tell it.
Yo, hey people, welcome. I think it's about time I throw my 2 cents in on this. I've been sitting on it, I've been watching, and I did not expect it to take the turn that it has taken in the public light. When I tell you this thing has been a sickening thing to watch, it has been an absolute angering and sickening thing to watch. For 2 reasons. The excuses that people make for atrocious actions, it's becoming par for the course now. The more heinous the act, the more excuses people find. I will never understand that, and I will never, ever, ever try I can't place my brain around the amount of gymnastics you have to go through to quantify an excuse for things. I never will. But here we are. Miss Clancy is a woman that is on trial for the murder of her 3 children by strangulation. And right now, the going census is that she did it out of a psychotic break due to postpartum depression, and she should not be held responsible. I've also heard that she's also not responsible because the medication for postpartum depression caused her to do it. So my confusion is, was it postpartum depression that did it, or was it medication for postpartum depression that did it, or was it a combination of postpartum depression and medication to get rid of postpartum depression? Oh, and sorry, a third thing, and voices in her head that caused her to do it. There's also the conspiracy that her husband is the one that did it and framed her somehow because he ignored signs. If he ignored signs, how'd she get the medication? There's a whole bunch of idiots out there that say stuff. I don't think they think all the way through. But then again, remember the short bus theory. I have to remind myself it's the short bus theory. It's out there. It's everywhere. I'll be making a few, cross-referencing for other issues as well today. And the first one we're going to dive into. Some years back, there was another incident involved a man. And a man went through his home and systematically killed his kids. Y'all might remember him. Killed everybody, wife included. Y'all might remember him, Mr. Watts. Y'all remember that guy? Chris Watts. I remember him because it happened here in the state I'm in. Did y'all remember him? Chris Watts? We're going to be listening to an interview with Chris Watts after he was given a life sentence. And I have a correlation that I want to make between the two. And then the social aspect of it will come in later. But I'll let him say what he has to say. I'll let him say it.
The girls are still in the truck.
Okay. Did they ask you what you were doing, taking mommy out, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask that.
What they say specifically?
It was more of like, what are you doing to mommy?
Okay. Right. And then the girls, right? Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first, okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the back seat.
Okay. Was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so once again, was it a hand over her face?
It was a blanket over and my hand.
And then your hand. Okay. And then so that just stopped her from breathing type thing? Okay. Did she struggle at all?
I don't think so, but I was blocking her face and my hand was right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth.
And we're just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing? Okay. What was Bella doing?
She was sitting there next to it. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Could she see you? Okay. Tell me about what you were thinking.
I was thinking it's what would happen.
Yeah.
Or any partial hint of what I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, but none of this would have happened. So I wasn't thinking.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull Cece out?
I pulled Cece out.
Okay, so once Cece's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and then you pulled Cece out. What'd you do with her? Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. Okay. With regard to that tank, did you bring up Cece, put her down, open the hatch?
Brought her up, opened the hatch.
And then put her in. Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said, "What happened to Cece?" First, she asked, it was the same thing, the exact same thing that happened to me as Cece.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that, Chris?
She had that soft voice she always had.
Yeah. And what exactly did she say?
She said that it's the same thing that happened to me as Cece. And then I said, I don't even remember what I said.
Okay.
I don't know if I just said yes, like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her too and did the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said, "No, Daddy." And that's the last thing she said.
Now, Chris Watts even walked with the officers after he did what he did to try and act as though someone else did it. Even though he knew he did it, and now he's trying to say he wasn't thinking. Even now, he's still trying to make a slight excuse for the things that he did because mental psychosis. Do I think these people are crazy? Yes. Do I think they're crazy to the point where they didn't and couldn't stop their actions? Hell no. I think they're crazy to the point where they intentionally do this stuff. That's the kind of crazy I think they are. I think they're the kind of evil crazy, not crazy, snap and came out of it kind of crazy. And I think I have a reason for thinking that. I think I have a very specific way that I'll show to you why that makes sense. In the aftermath of this whole situation with this lady, a bunch of women have come forward to support Lindsay. And when I say they support Lindsay in some of the most insane, unbelievable kind of ways. Some of them even go to the point of reenacting certain things, behaving as though they are going through postpartum depression. They're pretending it for TikToks and videos, setting up the camera and acting out what they would think postpartum depression would require them to do. What they don't realize is that in saying this is what they are experiencing is that they can indeed control it, because now you're telling me that while acting it out on camera. You see the problem? If it's something that you couldn't control, then I highly doubt that the one thing you'd want to do is try and reenact what postpartum depression would do if you say that it's different for everybody. That doesn't make any sense. Either you know what you're doing, so you wouldn't have, you say you set up the camera, or you don't know what you're doing, so you wouldn't have to set up the camera. This is what it looks like outside her courtroom situation. The news is covering it.
At 7:33, we are expecting a large rally right now outside the courthouse in Plymouth. People will be gathering there and around the country to show support for Lindsay Clancy.
It all comes after jurors heard from one of the key witnesses for the defense, a forensic psychologist. NBC 10's Manoj Kwangwari joins us from Plymouth. Manoj, have people really started to gather there?
Well, we mentioned we were expecting to see a significant amount of people, but you take a look at how many people have gathered here so far. I mean, this is more than 100 people here outside of the courthouse. And again, I've been here almost every single day of court. This is the first time we've seen this type of showing of support. You can see just how many people dressed in pink, hand in hand, united, all in support of Lindsay Clancy. They're to stay behind this yellow flag here, and really, they're only here just to show support. None of these people are going to be inside the courtroom. This just to show all of the support that Lindsay Clancy has. And of course, this comes after what was a tense day inside the courtroom. We heard from a forensic psychologist who, aside from the doctors that prescribed Lindsay Clancy medication, I mean, this might have been one of the most important witnesses because, well, he heard Lindsay Clancy say that a voice came into her head, forcing her to commit the acts. Lindsay strangled her 3 children to death before attempting to kill herself. She says she did it because of a postpartum psychosis episode due to being over-medicated. Therefore, she is not responsible. Well, during that episode of psychosis, Lindsay said that voice came into her head and told her to do it. She told that to her husband, Patrick, in the days after the killings over the phone. Well, that was the first and last time she says she heard that voice. But there was something else about that conversation that stuck out to the prosecution.
Did she ask about the kids?
She did not, as I recall.
And here's the thing about this rally. This is one of many that are expected all across the country. In fact, we even saw a flyer of a rally happening in the Netherlands. A lot of these people don't even live here in Plymouth. We actually spoke to one person who drove an hour, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is just an indication of how much support Lindsay Clancy has. For right now, though, we're live here in Plymouth. Manoj Kwangwari, NBC 10 Boston.
And if
Now remember, this is child 3 that would have brought on the postpartum depression. Just remember that child number 3 is what brought on postpartum depression. Okay, the third child, not the first, not the second, the third. So let's get a little background so we understand some more stuff about who Miss Lindsay Clancy is. Lindsay Clancy built a seemingly idyllic life with her husband and 3 children, all under the age of 6. However, prosecutors allege that image was shattered January 2023 when Clancy brutally strangled her kids to death. She's 35 and accused on 3 counts of first-degree murder with her highly anticipated trial underway. She faces a mandatory life sentence if convicted of the murder charges. Lindsay Musgrove was born August 11, 1990. She attended a rigorous acceleration nursing program in Massachusetts. In December 2016, she married Mr. Clancy. The couple had 3 children. Now listen to the ages, please. Cora, 2017, Dawson in 2019, and Kellen in 2022. She killed them in 2023. They want you to believe that the postpartum issue lasted almost a year before she killed her children. Now, we're going to go into, I'm not a medical professional, so I'm going to read the medical professional symptoms about this. Because I told you all before, I do not buy the bull that people hand out about psychosis being an excuse for every stupid thing people do. Postpartum starts immediately after childbirth and generally lasts 6 to 8 weeks. Your body goes through many physical and emotional changes during this time, with some symptoms lasting months after you give birth. Getting rest, allowing your body time to heal, and eating nutritious foods can help you recover from childbirth. Again, almost a year after the birth of her last child is when she killed all three. Now, the professional that testified during the time of the trial said that most of the depression states last between 4 and 6 weeks, which is about the same for most postpartum depression symptoms or just postpartum. The instant you have depression setting in, medication or getting out or getting some relief from the children could help. But for you to tell me that your actions caused you not only to kill all three children in the manner that you did, which was planned, by the way, because she did indeed and look up a whole lot of things. So if the postpartum depression was supposedly intrusive thoughts or something that accidentally happened, or it was just a moment's notice, she would not need to make sure things were set in stone. People were not home. Things were done. Things were had. All of those things happened. She spoke about it before. There was no voices in her head. Those are just excuses. She's a murderer. We're just waiting to find out how much time she's going to get, in my opinion. But the women making excuses for this absolute crazy piece of work is where the real crazy part steps in. That is where the insanity really pops off. Because now you have women doing this nonsense in support of Lindsay. And this is just one example. There are far worse ones out there. You set up the camera. Hear me out. You're so depressed. You're in so much a state of depression that you took the time. I'm sure you cried while doing all this, of course. You cried and set up the camera. You cried and got the angle. Then you cried and got the bowl, cried and got the ice, went into the bathroom, make sure the door was open, put the camera in the right place, and then start chucking ice cubes in the bathroom. All of this to show that postpartum depression is real. Now it's become a trend. It has become a trend on social media. Listen to me carefully. I'm not even lying about this. There's a trend on social media now of women not only supporting Lindsay, but showing the world just how much this thing affects all women across the world. Mark Dice covered it, and I want you all to watch the videos that he managed to find, because when I tell you it is crazy, it is crazy. This is not a small sample of women. We are talking about quite a few of these women doing this nonsense. But I have a different take as to how we got to this level. I'll get to that in a second, but let Mark do what he's got to do.
TikTok, who are showing her support as well, many of whom want her to be completely set free. She is innocent. Here they are celebrating her arrival at the courthouse, literally lining up and down the street, cheering for this psycho. So we'll get into all of that and more, provided my voice holds out. But first, I want to apologize for my upload schedule lately. I have been working on my new book, which is almost done, and it's going to come out in early November.
He talks about his ailments.
And her lawyers are trying to get her off as not criminally liable, but the whack jobs on TikTok, and there are hundreds of thousands of them, say that she is innocent.
That woman looks absolutely bat dung crazy. She's mental. And I don't mean mental because of postpartum. She is hateful, evil, wicked. Look at that face. A voice, you have been dealing with voices a long time. And it ain't because of postpartum. Stop the cap. Just stop the cap. When men like Chris Watts do what they do, they're evil. Chris Benoit, evil. He just hit it. Yeah, he might have had some concussions that caused it, but there's so many wrestlers that go through same concussions and they don't act that way. If CTE was the main reason for Chris Benoit to kill his whole family, then every wrestler that left the WWE would have killed their whole family. Stop the cap. Chris was a wicked, demonic, evil man, and he found a way to hide it under a smile and wrestling, and when he had the chance, he did what he wanted to do. Stop making excuses for stupid, wicked, evil, demonic people. There are just people out there that deserve to die. They don't need a second chance. They need to be put to death. Stop. There are just people handed over. You know that, right? There are just some sick individuals out there that have absolutely no desire to be good. None. They're not even trying. Not even trying.
And there are even many of them who believe that she has been framed for the killing and that her husband actually did it. The madness is making headlines across the country. This from the New Yorker, the Lindsay Clancy conspiracy spiral. And like I said, this is all because women were allowed to use TikTok. And as this user accurately noted, social media has done to women what police body cameras have done to blacks.
To the people that are upset and believe that she killed her 3 children and she should be convicted, what would be your message to them?
So grateful for you that you never experienced even remotely what women experience in postpartum.
Yeah, and admittedly, she did admit to killing them, but the woman you see now is completely different from the woman who did that to her kids. And I think it's really difficult for people to hold to truths that may seem opposite simultaneously. She can be a wonderful, loving mother, and she did this horrible thing that...
I hope you're hearing the logic behind this. I hope people are hearing the logic behind this. Yes, she can be loving and still strangle her babies to death. She can be a loving, great, wonderful mother and still make sure she goes and gets some strangulation tools, watch her children in the eye and murder them and still be an absolute wonderful, sweet, loving mother. That I just need to know, does that sound even remotely logical to y'all? Oh yeah, he was a great father. He just happened to molest his children every night because, he couldn't help it. But outside of that, he was a great loving father. I mean, yes, he beat his wife within an inch of her life, but outside of that, he was a great dad. Okay, no, yes. Okay, so he cut off the hands and limbs of his children, kept them in a basement, and deprived them of food. But that doesn't mean he's not a good father. That's a stupid you wenches sound. And I do believe that every last one of you women that have children that think like this should have your children taken away from you. Yes. I think every last one of you women that support this nonsense should absolutely be removed from the home and never, ever, ever see your children again. I'm behind that 100%, and no one's going to change every last one of you stupid broads should be taken before some kind of a panel and taken to some side halfway house and never see or touch, sniff, be around children ever again. Teach it, every last one of you, never be around kids. Because you're going to find an excuse one day when they frustrate you. I feel like Lindsay and I heard a voice and you're going to kill them too.
These are not her friends. These women have no idea who this lunatic is. They just read about her on social media. And so they're all gathering outside of the courthouse to support her. But it gets even worse because there's a trend on TikTok for new mothers to take the soundbite from the trial of her journal being read into evidence and playing that over their video and them saying, "Me too, Lindsay." And no, I'm not kidding.
Again, they say it's a mental issue. It's such a mental issue that you can set up the camera and act, edit, post, and watch for views. It's such a mental disorder, and you're unaware of it happening. You don't mean to do it, but you can set up your cameras and do this. Okay.
Indicated further on into her travels, I am completely overwhelmed trying to take care of the kids. I'm drowning every day. I feel guilty that I'm spending my family's money and not making any. I feel like I spend way too much. She wrote that, right?
Correct.
I'm terrified of Callan getting sick. He's a sick baby. A sick baby is miserable. He's sick now with a double ear infection. Clearly has a bellyache. It's miserable. I feel like the other kids are going to get him.
Of all of the troubles that new mothers face, they are identifying with this woman who clearly was a psycho before she had the kids. And so now they feel the same as she does. Others have consulted with their astrology charts and have realized the quote truth that she didn't do it at all. It was actually the husband who did.
This matters more than anything else he's going to say, because this is what really got me to have to say something. This particular thing right here you're about to see.
This whole thing is a sham.
It's been a while, but I have to pop on here just to say that I've been following this Lindsay Clancy trial, especially as a mother of two who dealt with a lot of postpartum mental illness. And, you know, just following all their birth charts and birthdays and zodiac signs. He did it. He did it. He did it. He's a Gemini man.
She's still crazy.
His birthday is June 15th. I'm a Gemini woman. My birthday is June 14th. Let me give you another example of who a Gemini man is. Also birthday June 14th. Men and women are different. Keep that in mind. Please don't judge me. Donald Trump.
Oh, of course, Donald Trump has to be tied into the case. I mean, what's next? Candace Owens, the ultimate diversity hire in conservative media, going to proclaim that this woman is innocent? Oh, wait, what's this?
Your girl Corinne writes, I know you're busy, but I'd love to know your thoughts on the Lindsay Clancy case in Massachusetts. I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that she was arrested, the moment that it made the news. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they put her on. I regularly speak out against Big Pharma. They get away with murder all the time. And in this case, they are getting away with the murder of really her 3 children, but also completely destroyed her life. When Lindsay Clancy, in my opinion, is not guilty.
Okay, you can be critical of Big Pharma. You can oppose these bizarre antipsychotic medications, which in many cases make people psychotic. But that doesn't mean that this woman is not guilty. Although at this point, I would trust Lindsay Clancy to be alone with small children over Candace Owens.
I agree 100%. I would trust Lindsay Clancy over Candace any day, all day, 24/7, 7 days a week. Are any of you surprised that the demon herself is on board with her being innocent? Any of you surprised by that? I'm not surprised at all. I'm not the least bit surprised. Now, I saw that and I thought to myself, okay, there must be a logical strand going through all of this. Something somewhere along the lines, there is some sort of a reality that has to be implemented here. Okay, something is something. Okay, and I think I found out what it is. Now remember, this is happening in it's Massachusetts, right? It's Massachusetts. Isn't that where she's at, Massachusetts? That's y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but it is Massachusetts, right? That's where they're at, Massachusetts. I know it's Massachusetts. I'm just saying it's stupid. That's the place where it is, right? Okay. Yeah, oddly enough, it is also the stomping grounds of something else that pervades that state. There is something in that state. I'm just letting y'all know now. Something is wrong with that state. Madly wrong with that state. I'm not sure how many of you knew what recently happened in Massachusetts either. because there is a link that I'm going to point out to you as to why most of these women are on board with Miss Clancy and why they see no problem with the ending of a child's life more than they're concerned about her being crazy. Okay? Listen to this.
We've heard from a Massachusetts doctor who's too often forced to tell patients with severe pregnancy complications that they must leave the state in order to receive care. We've heard from a physician in Maryland who's treated a growing number of patients from Massachusetts, traveling not only from states with abortion bans like Texas and Louisiana, but traveling from states like Massachusetts. So today, we're changing that. Today, mothers and fathers and families who experience these devastating diagnoses, and they are devastating, heartbreaking. Now they'll be able to make their own choices. They'll be able to get the care that they need right here in Massachusetts. Now, the law that I sign is against the context of the moment that we're in and the time in this country. We know that protecting abortion access and reproductive health care has been under fire. We saw it when the Supreme Court overturned Roe and the Dobbs decision back in 2022, the first time a court has ever taken away a right that was given. We've seen it as Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress continue to pass anti-abortion legislation, including extreme abortion bans. Today, 1 in 3 women in America live in a state with an abortion ban. President Trump's new Attorney General, Todd Blanche, over the weekend said that overturning Roe v. Wade should be made, quote, permanent in every state. That's what we're up against. In this moment, it is up to the states to lead. And as governor, I promise that no matter what Donald Trump or Republicans in Congress or the Supreme Court does, we're going to continue to make sure that women and families have access to the health care that they need right here in Massachusetts. We're going to make sure that women in particular are able to make their own health care decisions, not the government.
So let's take a look. I'm going through all of this for a reason now. The reason I'm going through all of this is so you'll understand how all of this is even remotely possible to take place. Okay? So let's look at the bill, what the bill is actually supposed to be about. She signed a law Monday removing the state's 24-week abortion limit, allowing abortions at any point in the pregnancy based on physician's approval. Kate Dinnan and Alex Lawton spoke on the bill's conference, recounting their own experience leaving the state for a late-term abortion in 2021. Massachusetts becomes the 10th state without a gestational abortion limit, drawing criticism online from Republican lawmakers. Before the change, abortions were legal until 24 weeks, 5 months, with the exceptions granted to preserve the life or physical health of the mother. We're signing this law today so that new patients, people we won't know or won't meet, will be able to have the chance to get what they need in Massachusetts. The law says abortions after 24 weeks will be allowed based on the professional judgment of the physician, meaning that you can murder the child up until birth. I want you all to understand this, that if they feel that they don't want the child alive just before birth, they can murder the child. You want to know why so many stupid women, foolish, clownish, retarded women are jumping on this bandwagon? Because they are murderous. We have crafted in this country an entire diaspora of murderous, wicked, evil-intended women, and they are allowed to be and say whatever they want. They also find them bringing false accusations against men constantly. You'll find them all over the place, spreading their legs for the most ridiculous reasons, because money or because of influence, and then they'll use and leverage children against the father. We're here because women not all, but unfortunately becoming a lot more, are some of the most degenerate and worthless people on the planet. They have all the power to decide the fate of children, removing them from the father, killing them in the womb. And now we have some of the most stupid women promoting the idea that, hey, if she's crazy enough, let her kill after the child is born. If you think it's going to stop with up to the time of birth, please watch if you don't see within the next few years, they start giving it up to 2 years after birth for the woman to say the child is a burden. And that anything that happens to the child after that point, after birth to 2 years, will not be holding the mother responsible. I have no idea why so many women are becoming this way, why they're joining the bandwagon. I don't know what exactly is the lure. I get that it's a heart issue. I know that, but the lure to do this is insane to me. Like, I have 5. I have 5 kids, right? And I remember the youth that they were in. I remember the last one now is 11 years old. And I keep coming across photos of this little guy. And I keep coming across photos of all these little people that are now not so little. And I cannot think of one angering issue that they've done, because children can press your buttons. Let's be honest, children know how to press your buttons, right? We know that. But I cannot for the life of me think of a logical reason that I can look at my children and think, you know what I should do? Strangle them. You know what I should do? Stifle them and throw them in a vat full of water. You know what I should do? Beat them to death. I have never thought that even in my most angry places and all the buttons that they have pushed, it's never crossed my mind. Not even my wife being upset with these people. I don't understand. But I do understand at the same time. I don't, but I do. I don't, but I do. I'll show you something real quick. Because this picture will be about, I think he was probably about a year older than the oldest child. Maybe. I think he might have been a year older than the oldest child of this lady that, the one that she killed. Of the 3 children, the oldest one, 17. Yeah, so 17. KJ was 4. So he's 2 years older in this picture than the oldest one that she killed. Okay. I'm going to show you this. And I want you to imagine something. And he was small for his age because he had a few things wrong with his digestion and stuff like that. But this is my mini me. This is my mini me. Okay. At the age that the person would have been at when she killed the oldest. And I want y'all to contemplate something real quick. You women out there. You have a child that you've raised, seen him grown, and you just decide one day because a voice told you to murder him, to go grab something of a strangulation device, pin him down, choke him to death, and then move on to do it to one younger than him, to his sister. And then you move on to do it to one even younger than that one. You want me to believe somehow that medication and psychosis, when you don't even ask how the kid's doing after you've sobered up, that's the reason you did it. That's your logic. And you want me to somehow think that you're not evil, that you're not a vile, vindictive, Jezebelic witch. You're not going to, you want me to somehow think, oh, that's just a one-off. 50.5 or 0.9% of women go through some sort of a postpartum experience. Okay, so half of the mothers go through it. About 2.8 to almost 3% of those do something untowards to their child. If that number be true, the amount of women that do this thing are indeed doing it not just from a point of psychosis, it is from a point of intent. Because there's enough information out there for you to know that you might be one of those people that might go through it. And I'm sure as a responsible adult, you would figure out some way to figure out, hey, I might be susceptible to this. I mean, I could see, okay, say she got mad and a knife and she stabbed one of her kids. Psychosis should be broken right the instant you see something going on with your kid. Something has to take place. That didn't happen. This was intentional. This woman is a murderer. She killed her 3 children in cold blood because she's evil. And the women supporting her are just as evil. I don't want to hear you even remotely mentioning God or anything like that out of your vile mouth. Leave that name out of there because you definitely don't possess anything to do with him in your life. So I would suggest that you don't even talk about that. If you can find some excuse for this, you're a problem. You definitely don't need to be having children. And the children you do have need to be taken from you. If you support this, you don't deserve children. And I hope your husband, if he sees you supporting this, he gets rid of you right away and divorces you right off the rip. Not even a conversation, just move on. Get custody of the kids because you crazy, and I don't want what happened to Lindsay's kids to happen to mine. I'm taking my kids and bouncing. Why are we leaving mom? Because mom is crazy and evil. Because mommy thinks that at any point she can kill you and it'll be mental. We're not doing this. We're not doing it to the point where mommy made videos to record herself, possibly losing her mind. I'll show you.
So now there's a big trend on TikTok of new mothers setting up their phones and recording themselves crying to the camera, performing how difficult their lives are now that they are mothers.
Most of them will be scantily clad too, by the way, because they also know what they're doing.
Then posting it on the internet for the world to see for sympathy. Like this woman who set up her phone in the bathroom to show her morning sickness now. She has morning sickness and she has to deal with a toddler. And she had to share that on the internet, crying for the entire world to see and sympathize with her.
I want you all to get this through your head. For that last one, the camera set up in a toilet area. Please listen to me carefully. In the toilet area, you bring your child into the bathroom with you. You say you're having morning sickness to the point where you can control it long enough to set up the camera, then throw up, if you even were doing that. Watch and hear your child crying. Look at the camera, cry some more, then pick up your child to watch the camera even more. Postpartum depression. Then this one sets up the camera and stares at it quite happily. No expression on her face. She's not even remotely sad. Do you see any anger in that face? Do you see any depression in that face? Nothing, right? Watch the transition.
Others are demonstrating a new technique that they have discovered in order to alleviate their stress as new moms by throwing ice in the shower and, of course, setting up their phone to videotape that, perform for the camera, and then share it with the rest of TikTok. Of course, she had to put on her sexy pants. She needs to look good for TikTok. Instead of having a screaming match with a toddler, she is throwing ice in the tub and, of course, videotaping that and sharing it with the world.
Again, the logic is not only that, Mark. She's not only setting up the camera. She had to go get the bowl, pop the ice out, bring the ice into the bathroom, close the door, get her tantrum, ooh, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Then go grab the ice.
Obviously, she does throw like a girl. To the E ward, lady. To the mental hospital. We'll do one more. This woman's therapist told her throwing ice into the bathtub is a great way to release her anger. So, of course, instead of just doing that, she's demonstrating that for us. And put music to it as well.
But you want me to take you seriously, right? Because you're having problems. You're stressed out. Your children are worrying you. So what you do is you take your phone to the bathroom and leave your child unattended. Hear me out. You leave your child unattended to bring your frustrations to the bathroom to record yourself throwing ice in support of Lindsay Clancy, who killed her kids. So you don't know if your throwing ice time is intruding on your children, probably putting a fork in a socket. No, who cares about that? Or your kids possibly walking out the front door and getting run over by a car. Who cares about that? Postpartum depression. Or somebody, a kid walking into the kitchen, pulling down a knife, getting stuck and killed in the kitchen. Who cares about that? I got postpartum depression. I need to chuck me some ice. I'm in a bad way. Look at me chucking ice. I'm an ice chucker.
They're so busy raising their toddlers, they can produce content for TikTok. Wait, with a soundtrack. Thankfully, not all women are this insane. This woman came up with this brilliant observation, noting that women will do bleep like this, gathering outside the courtroom, and then wonder why the entire planet and every major religion has imposed strict social restrictions on their sovereignty since the dawn of time in every place humans have ever lived.
They're not making a very good argument for maintaining rights. I'll tell you that much. And again, look, I'm going to go back to another platform I'm on, Straight Talk. I'll go back to that one. There seems to be a pattern emerging that people will see somebody do something wrong, say something wrong, and they will find a way to defend the wrongdoing because you see it as wrong. They refuse to admit it, but if you point it out, that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's like you cannot no longer point out issues, the obvious. You know what I'm saying? I'll play the short from it because I said it better there than I can say it now. And that's where I'm going to end it. Because the main conversation really has to do with people being so delusional that they'll look past the most obvious thing and denounce you for pointing out the most obvious thing, because to them it's not obvious enough, and you are judging because it's obvious. I don't look. I say this a lot. I don't know how we got here, but I keep remembering every time I say it. A wise person once said to me that back in the day, there used to be a delineation in school. There were people who came to school on a regular bus, and then there were those that came to school on a not so regular bus. We used to call it the short bus. Well, those were delineating marks in school. So you knew who was who and how to address those people because there was a certain mental deficit that was there. Well, when school was done, those people entered general population. And when they entered general population, there was no more a marker to tell you these were the slow ones, these were the regular ones. And now they walk among us being all slow and telling you that you shouldn't point out the obvious because they're too slow to see. And right now, this pattern I'm seeing is that there are evil, demonic, wicked women having their way across the world and are gaining the upper hand. And more, you're seeing them make excuses for some of the most disgusting behaviors, whether that be the OnlyFans, the MVP backstage pass girls, the abortion revolution women. And now we enter the brand new one into the foray, which is the murder your children and blame it on psychosis women. And not only that, cheer for the woman who killed the children. Don't even talk about the children. Talk about the mom who went through so much by having already two before the last one. And instead of ending your own self, you decide to kill the kids. Look, if you have postpartum depression and intrusive thoughts, take yourself out first. Do the world a favor and end you first. I'll be the one to say it. Go ahead and kill you first. Don't kill the kids. The kids didn't do nothing. They're just there having fun. Murder yourself. Take whatever measures you got to do. Take some pills, drink some gasoline, light your throat on fire. Nobody gives a damn about you no more. If you that crazy, kill yourself. Leave the kids alone. End your life. Rid the world of one crazy crackpot woman and let us live. Let your kids go on to have a better life without your crazy remedial behind. Kill yourself. Go ahead. Either that or get help. But don't expect us to just be like, oh, she's okay. No, kill yourself. Go ahead. End your stupid, miserable life. Leave the children alone. All these retards out here promoting abortion. No, if you don't want kids, don't have kids. Close your legs. Rip your womb out. Take the steps. But no, you prefer to murder children. At every turn, you're finding the most innocent ones to pay the price for what you got going on. Kill yourself. Go ahead. You want to die so badly, go ahead. It's so weird that you can do this to everybody else but yourself because you're crazy. You so crazy, everybody else got to die but you. You listen to the children died. You miraculously survived your suicide attempt. Right? I want y'all to get it. She was so crazy. Postpartum had her so lost. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I'm going to kill my kids and myself, but you lived. You lived. The kids were the ones that just expired. They did nothing. They were just happy. They were just being children. Playing with Legos, playing with dolls, hanging out. You and your crazy dingbat behind decide you're just going to strangle 3 children and then act like it was, a moment. It's always y'all, man. Y'all always want to ruin everybody else. But when you live, it's, at least I'm alive. You should get the chair. I don't want you to get life, Lindsay. I don't need you to get life in prison. I want you to die. I do. I think you should die. I think they should put you on death row firing squad something, but they should, in fact, I think they should hang you. I think you should die the same way you killed your children. I think you should die by strangulation too. And hear me out, you can go find God before then, but you're still going to pay the price. You should pay the price here on earth for what you did. And you should be okay with paying the price. Because you murdered 3 innocent people. You murdered them. You did not have an active fit of passion. You murdered these people. These young, innocent, didn't do anything to anybody, children. You murdered them. And you should be killed too. You should be ended. We shouldn't have to pay for anything to do with keeping you alive. There should be no chance for you to walk free. None. I wish we would start implementing the way you end somebody is the way you get ended. However you killed somebody, if you're found guilty, you should be killed the same way. Exact carbon copy way. And you can be sorry, no problem. Be sorry, be remorseful. Be remorseful. David was remorseful. David was mad remorseful. Punishment didn't go away. The punishments always still lie there. Your conscience is just clean about it because you know that you deserved it. And you're cool with the fact that justice is being served because you're sorry. You're genuinely sorry. You know what'll happen? It doesn't matter the consequences after that point. You'll be like, you know what? I did that. I deserve that ending. As sorry as I am, I do deserve that ending. I murdered 8 people. They said I should be put to death at the chair. I am remorseful, and I do deserve that end. I don't want a second chance. I don't deserve a second chance. I did do that. As remorseful as I am, and I will never, ever, ever go back to that person, but I do understand consequences. And consequences mean I must die. And that's okay with me because I've made resolve that I did something wrong. That's what true acceptance of your fate would be. So don't tell me, well, God would forgive. God can forgive her, definitely. But the laws of the land are the laws of the land, and she should be put to death. I tell you, if she gets off on insanity and even proven innocent, watch if you don't see a spike in women killing children and blaming it on postpartum. Watch. If she gets off somehow, some way, Lindsay Clancy is proven innocent or at least given the innocent and saying, no, she's not going to jail. And she's just given some psych eval as probation. Watch a spike in women killing their children and saying postpartum. I'm calling it now. I know people gonna hate this video because of what I'm asking for. Don't care. You know, y'all, if y'all follow me long enough, you know if I say it, I don't have zero issue with backing it up or standing on it. Because I'll do this much. I can read between the lines and see what's coming. These people are pushing to harm the most innocent at every turn. So what if 3 children died? She was sad. She was having a hard time. She had to. The voices told her to. It's pharma's fault. It's big pharma. That's what it is. Yeah. Medication is what made her do it. She took medication for so long that the one time the voice said it, she gave in. She only heard it once, right? One time. She heard the voice one time. And the one time she heard the voice, acted. Normally when I hear people say they heard voices, the voice has been talking to them for a while and it's been asking them to do stuff, but they never listened to it until it became more and more predominant. She just had to hear that voice one time to say, kill him. Okay, bet, I'm on it. One time. That's all it took. She didn't. Look, it didn't take much persuading. I'll give this. Look, the voice that she heard was so persuasive. She just had to hear it one time. And it said, kill your kids. Bet. I'm on it. Let me go grab some rope. Let me go do what I got to do and kill these kids. I heard you. One time is all you I bet you her husband had to tell her 15 different times to do something. She wouldn't listen then. I bet you if her man told her to do something, she wouldn't listen. Some voice in her head say, kill her kids. She could hear that and move just fine. Oh, and the voice also told her to kill herself. That would definitely be it. And although the kill yourself part wasn't so succinct because it didn't work. Logic. If all it takes is for one voice to tell you one time to kill your kids and you act on it, you were thinking about it yourself before then. You wanted to. You wanted to. She's a murderer. She is a murderer. And she deserves to rot in prison or die. She needs a chair to be strangled to death, just like her kids were. Firing squad, incinerator, but she needs to die. I stand on that 100%. 100%. People can disagree. That's okay. It's my view on it. In any case, we'll probably be back on Tuesday. I hope. I hope. And for those of you that might be lacking a spine, looking for one, I got news for you. This is my advice. Ignore the chatter and the blowback and tell it like it is.
I kept reading all the rest. Now the table's getting clear, and the truth is pretty near. Say play, say loud, let the old smoke blow out. One look, one sign. If it's real, then cross